Pros. Just because something on the job runs out doesn't mean you have to. Order it on the Lowe's app. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Get the fasteners, hardware, or tools you need to keep the job moving. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered right to your job site by 8 p.m. Members get more at Lowe's. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to availability. Restrictions and terms at lowes.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
Thank you to last week's sponsors for being the first in a long line of hopefully new sponsors to be a part of On The Spot Football Podcast. If you're interested in being a part of the sponsorship, getting yourself on the screen with me and a couple of guests, please give us a shout. We will look after you and we will give you a good deal for plenty of money, obviously. Tonight's guest, it's been an absolute pleasure to get this big man in the hot seat. He's another centre forward. He's from Cork. I don't know how he still has the accent with living in Carrick, but he's here tonight on the spot, and it's Mr. Stephen O'Flynn. Stephen, how are you, sir?
Great.
Oh,
Delighted to be here. Delighted.
Thank you for coming, sir.
You probably won't have too many Corkmen on this show, probably.
Probably not. Do you know what? I was going to say the only one I think I know is Lee Lynch, but I think he's actually from Limerick. And I was do you know what? I couldn't even go there, but yeah. I mean, it's not too far away, you know. It's down the very bottom, isn't it?
Couldn't be further from home.
It's one place I need to go. Maybe we'll have to get it.
Open invite.
Then night out, sort of.
Exactly.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. Life is great. I'm in a great place at the moment, both mentally and physically. My family life is good. Couldn't be happier.
We're coming on here full of positivity, mate. I love it. It could go the opposite way. We could be getting them tissues out. We could be crying straight away.
Hopefully no tissues.
Hopefully no tissues.
But no, I try to be positive as I can. I think that's the way I think my energy is. I like to try to be as positive as I can. And I use that with my son. I use that with my partner. Just day-to-day life and my work and stuff. So yeah, let's aim for a positive show.
I got to be completely honest with you here. I think that if I moved to Cork for 5 years, I would have somewhere along the line a horrendous accent. So the fact that you've managed to stay up here and have the broadest Cork accent is madness. Yeah,
well, I hope you've the subtitles on this especially.
Need them.
But no, I've picked up like wee sayings, like stuff like that. But no, I've true to myself, I've just stuck with it. I know some people go to England for 6 months and come back.
That would be me.
With all the slang, but no.
I would be. I'm putting the accent and all on. Queen's hat and all. Be gone. But no, listen, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've been in conversation for quite a while to try and organise this. But I mean, what a career. I've got to do my research. I've got to have a good look at it. The real Slim Shady, from some people might know you in Derry, but we'll get into that. But you obviously listen to them. We spoke about this quite often. You do enjoy the podcast, which I really appreciate, but you've got to take it back to the start, mate. How did it all begin for you down in Cork?
So I started off with I suppose when I had football, my foot, since I could walk, so my mother tells me, and then my dad used to play like local football, so going along to the games with him. And then I started playing probably around 11 or 12 for a club called Mallow United, based in North Cork. And just everywhere I went, I had a football at my foot. Obsessed, I would say obsessed. From a very young age, that's all I wanted to do. And like many of your guests, I think that's a common theme. So yeah, I went from playing Mallow United, maybe 11 or 12 years of age, and found myself in London when I was 16.
How do you understand quickly that you've got talent, and do you kind of see the progression from under 12 being at the same age as other people, supposed to have the same physicality, skill level and stuff like that? Did you escalate quite quickly in that progression, or did it take you a wee bit?
Yeah, I suppose I didn't realise I was just enjoying football like any young person would. I was quite fortunate. So there was a scout from Wimbledon. He married a girl in Cork.
Okay.
Set up like a kind of a school every weekend. And that was a paying, so you had to pay like a few quid. And I suppose there was rumours going around about other kids going over, and I suppose we got wind of that. And I thought, this kid's getting a trial at Wimbledon. They're like Premier League. And so, long story short, I went and I kind of joined in. And I think from there, things kind of escalated pretty quickly. I went over on trial. An awful lot of luck, as you know. You know, it's timing, I think. Went over. My first game, I scored a hat-trick. It was like a kind of an in-house game.
Can't really get a better start, can you? Like?
No. Look, it was funny because I only had a pair of studs. I didn't have moldies. You know, it was like one pair of boots back then. Yeah. That was it. So you went over in kind of summertime. Pitch was rock hard. And here's me wearing a pair of studs. And like, they're obviously looking and going, who's this Irish guy wearing the studs?
This absolute maniac.
Yeah. Like,
turn up gravel.
So I ended up having blisters on my feet after that. 45 minutes. I got taken off, and then it was a second game. I ended up scoring 2 in the second game, and that was with someone else's boots that I nearly got in trouble with. I didn't, as I say, I had my studs, didn't have any molds, and went into the boot room and picked up a pair of Lotto boots, blue, random size.
What were the original studs though? That's the question here.
They were a pair of boots my uncle gave me, and they were Adidas World Cups.
Oh, okay.
Joe Filey gave me a pair of, so he sent me over a pair of Adidas World Cups.
Not a typical boot for a 16-year-old.
No,
like.
definitely not, definitely not. But you know, they stood me in good stead, you know, for future times. And yeah, so I got really lucky. Within the space of them few days, we went back home. And needless to say, I was kind of invited back over again. When they invited me back over, I played, so I was probably 15 at the time, and they decided they were going to try me at the under 18s. So I probably touched the ball about 4 or 5 times. That the physicality was massive. So I ended up coming home, just so I flew back over the second time, played 1 game, trained for a few days with the under 18s, and actually ended up crying coming home on the plane with the scout. Didn't think it was going to go to plan, and they just were impressed with my attitude. Like, I was still trying to tackle, like run around, just tackle bigger men. And yeah, and I was offered a 3-year deal and 3-year YTS, and the big brights of London came calling.
See, whenever you initially get the conversation to go over on trial, do you realise that Wimbledon is as big as it is at that time? Because it was an absolute force back in the day when you think of the likes of Finney Jones and the Mad Squad and the way they tackled, and it was just a bunch of maniacs there enough.
Yeah, I wasn't, truth be told. To be honest, I probably didn't even know what Wimbledon was. Yeah. Like, Wimbledon was known for tennis.
Yeah.
That's right. Wimbledon was, you know? Okay. And barring the cup final, I think in '89, you know? Yeah. So that's what they're reminded for. And the Crazy Gang, obviously. So they were the kind of 3 things when people say Wimbledon, the Crazy Gang, tennis, and the football. So I wasn't. A lot of excitement. The fact that I was leaving home, kind of 15, touching 16. All excitement. Yeah, just didn't know what I was getting myself in for. Moved in with a Greek family, just in digs. Looked after. We were on like £27 a month, or it's £27 a week and stuff, and everything was looked after. So it was beyond the dream. I never thought someone from my area could go to a Premier League club. Yeah. It was a bit surreal, but thoroughly enjoyable.
How different is London to Cork? Well, especially for a kid. Like, it's like...
Well, to be honest, I probably hadn't even been to Cork City. I'd been going to London. Yeah. So I'm about 20 miles outside the city. So obviously at that age, you wouldn't travel too far from home.
In the neighbourhood.
Yeah. So, yeah, from going over there first, then making your own way from the airport. It taught me vital lessons from 16 to 19. It tells you need to grow up pretty quickly. Mind you, sometimes I still feel as if I'm 16 the way I act, but no, you have to grow up early. You have to grow up pretty quick. And then formative years, I think, are important in any man's life, you know?
Yeah.
So it was daunting. It was exciting. And yeah, London was like, again, everything was an experience. Like going to the shop was an experience. Going on the tube, going into the city centre. You know, so many good experiences. Like,
How did you settle in?
good. Loved it. First year, it was fun for me. It was fun, all fun. You know, there was one other Irish guy over there, in the youths, but also there was the likes of Kenny Cunningham, Michael Hughes, Northern Ireland International. So they were there as well, and I must say, like, they were brilliant for me. Most of the other kids were local, you know, so they were going home to their families.
Yeah.
So like, again, anyone who goes away, there was difficult times. It wasn't just all fun and games, but no, I adapted really well. Scored quite a lot of goals, you know, in the youth team. Played my first ever game under floodlights at old Oxford Ground, Manor. I think it was Manor Park, maybe. Again, just felt like a footballer.
Yeah.
At 16 years of age. Didn't have any floodlights back home in Cork.
Yeah.
So everything was just a great experience. And then probably going into my second year, getting the experience to play with reserve team football, play with some cracking players who went on to do great things. Yeah, just great experiences most of the time.
Did you think at that stage that you were going to hit the heights?
My first year I did. I was flying, everything was going. I wouldn't say to plan because I didn't really have a plan. That's been honest. I was kind of like, it was like day by day, taking it day by day. Of just, here I am living the dream, like at a Premier Division club, going to see United, Liverpool, Arsenal, all these clubs. That's obviously a Sellers Park. Thinking that this was going to be the next step. And things didn't quite pan out the way I probably would have wanted. Injuries. Was I good enough? Probably not for that level. But I tried to ensure that I gave myself every chance. It's the one thing I think I did till the end of my career, is just give everything. I think I gave everything on the pitch, and enjoyed myself off it. That's the way I lived, and that's the way I done it, and I wouldn't change that for a minute.
Whenever you sort of come to the conclusion that it's potentially not going to work out, full-time football, how does that affect you?
Ever feel like your brain just won't click? Onnit Alpha Brain is a daily supplement engineered to support memory, focus, and mental speed. Made with science-backed ingredients, Onnit Alpha Brain helps you lock in, tune out distractions, and stay sharp. See what your brain can really do. Visit onnit.com and shop Alpha Brain to unlock your next level. That's ONNIT.com.
K-pop Demon Hunters, Haja Boys Breakfast Meal and Huntrix Meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop.
You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
It was pretty hard. So when I got told I wasn't good enough or I was going to be released, my parents were over that weekend. That was a tough one to take because I'd been top goal scorer along with maybe another guy. Didn't really play enough reserve team football, men's football. And I thought, you're like everyone who goes over and basically you're told you're not good enough.
Yeah.
It's a big blow, massive blow. But again, it builds that resilience. You know, I think it's important for life. And that was, at that young age, that was a tough one to take.
Did you have a plan for coming home? Or did you have other people reach out to you and say, there's options here, let's go to different clubs and trial, or go here for a week and there for a week?
I was lucky enough. I had a friend over there whose dad was involved at Brentford and Fulham. So I went on trial with Brentford. We played QPR at Loftus Road. Played at the old Brentford ground, Griffin Park. just to see if there was anyone watching and stuff like that. I went up to Clyde in Scotland for a trial. They actually offered me a deal, but it was like peanuts.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like another move for me. I just need to go home. By that stage, there was a few Irish clubs in, and I thought, I just need to go home and reset. And eventually, I kind of said, right, there's no harm in resetting.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. That's a bit of embarrassment. Like everyone, when you go home, everyone thinks you're going to be a Premier League player. You're going to play in the Premier League. So there was a lot of embarrassment, letting people down. Even though deep down I didn't let anyone down.
Yeah.
But it's what you're thinking.
That's what you think, yeah.
Again, same as like a lot of people coming home. But then it was like, right, get going, get back on the horse. And I joined Cork City.
Were you more than happy to be back home in Cork, playing for Cork? Yeah, I take it they were League of Ireland time.
Yeah.
So, good side.
So they were half decent side when I joined them.
And you're still very young at this, at 19.
Yeah, so I was 19 at the time. So I suppose confident in my ability, I came back, I said, I'm going to play every week here.
Yeah.
But the reality was I had played no men's football. I played maybe 10, 12, 15 reserve games and had great experiences.
Yeah.
You know, I played at Stamford Bridge and, you know, played FAU Cup, and it was a boy who was dreaming me to play like at Ellen Road, and I played there, and that was like, so all these good experiences, but I wasn't ready to play men's football. So when I came back, that was a bit of shock. So I didn't quite play as much as what I would have wanted in the League of Ireland. So it was another tough blow when you come back and you're not playing and you're going, what's this all about? But physically I probably wasn't ready.
Did you think coming back though that the physicality of the game was in reach, or did it really shock you that I'm not ready for this?
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I was thinking I was 18, 19 probably. And I was still technically, I was probably up there. I could probably get the ball control at half turn, bring people into play. But the game wasn't like that. They wanted you to pin centre forwards, win headers, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, there was, at Cork City at the time, there was a lot of players who retired that following year. Okay. So it was an older squad.
Yeah.
It was an older squad. And I had the pleasure of playing with the likes of Patsy Frayne and Declan Daly, great Cork City players, Pat Morley, you know, John Caulfield, Stephen Napier. You could go on and on. But this 19-year-old, fresh from coming back from England, I wasn't ready. Yeah. I wasn't ready. So again, another experience, and you go, right, where do I go again? So it's kind of like, right, it's a downward spiral. And I ended up signing for Limerick.
Limerick, the league below at this stage?
Yeah.
Do you think, though, looking at your trajectory and where you think that you're supposed to go, sometimes it's better taking a step back to go forward? Because a lot of kids think that the only way up is to go forward. And sometimes you need the ground and the experience of, as you say, like you never had it.
100%. I think it's an ego thing in men in general. I think your ego is hurt. You know, some people want to wear a tracksuit of a Premier League club, but they don't want to play it in the Championship.
Yeah.
But it's all about playing games. We will touch on it. It's about playing games. And I look at my career, I didn't play enough games. And that's what it boiled down to as well, I think. So I was like, right, I just need to play. I need to actually show people what I can do here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Limerick, it's about an hour down the road. And I had my dad driving up and down every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday to take me to games and back, and that was great bonding, I suppose, for me and my dad as well. You know, looking back now, I probably didn't appreciate it at the time, but you kind of go, you drove down an hour, sat in the car for an hour and a half, and then drove me back here.
Yeah.
You know, so memories that'll last, and had a really good season at Limerick, and again under great people, great people, and that's probably the one thing that has a common theme in my career. Great people right from the start, from Wimbledon right through. I'm still in touch with so many people, but had a good season at Limerick, and ended up going back to Cork under Pat Dolan.
That year at Limerick seems to be one of the best years starting you off as you have, because you're pretty much near enough goal a game. It kind of gets you settled. You start scoring goals, getting the rhythm back.
Yeah.
Was it always a matter of that you wanted to go back to Cork to prove something, or was it you were just happy to go back into the Premiership?
To be honest, I had nothing on my mind. I was day to day. It was like, just do well today.
Yeah.
Didn't know what was going to happen down the line. Just do well today. And when the opportunity came up, I was like, yes, of course. I was like, right, I need to show people what I can do here. It's like, I think if I didn't feel like that, there'd be something wrong with me, because I wanted to show people. It was like, I played maybe 3 or 4 and a handful of games. So I was like, oh, I want to go back and show them what I'm actually about.
Yeah.
I suppose I've developed a little bit physically then in that year, in that period of time, playing against grown men. Playing regularly helps. And yeah, going back to Cork was going to be amazing under an amazing manager.
Whenever you touch on that old guard who was there the initial year you came back, they've obviously sort of passed on now, so you've got to look at the likes of John Caulfield, who you're saying is coming to the end. A lot of them leave at that age, or that extra year, so your year away allows you to come back to probably a very different changing room than what was there the first time.
Yeah, there was, again, a lot of good players. Ollie Cahill being one of them, Conor O'Grady, it's too many to mention, but came back. There was the likes of George O'Callaghan, Joe Gamble, Kevin Doyle, these players. Shane Long went on to play for, so again, a big change within them, say, few years.
Yeah.
And again, I backed myself. And the week before the season, I broke my leg in Galway. I was actually playing left midfield at the time, and it was the week before the season started, and I went to tackle a guy. Obviously, it's not my strong point. And yeah, broke the outside one of my left leg. Yeah, and then you're kind of going, right,
I've got a year on the sidelines
again. Yeah, tough. No, tough. But like I said this to people, it's not all sob stories. It just it builds your resilience. You got to go again.
I think it all depends on your mindset, because there's a lot of times where I've been injured and the last thing that you actually want to do is rehab, but there's other times that I've been fully focused on returning, and there's a big difference in the two.
Yeah, I agree. I also agree it depends on who's around you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important as well. Like when I was at Wimbledon, I was out for a period as well. Didn't really have no one around me. This time I had people around me, and I was determined to get back again.
Yeah.
It's character, whether you work in a bank or you need character. You're going to get knockbacks, setbacks in life. And as my career showed, there was an awful lot of them. And yeah, so it began. I remember coming down from Galway in the back of Pat Dolan's car, and in a cast I got operated on maybe the next day. And that's where it began. At the time, I suppose the rehab wasn't brilliant. Cork City weren't full time at this stage. But I basically had to kind of learn how to run again. Because what you tend to do is you come back and you want to throw away the crutches and you start walking, but you're walking with a limp.
Yeah.
So I continued that a waddle through my career. That's the way it kind of went. It got back, and again, I just needed to play. So I didn't play. I think I might have played one game. But in fairness, Cork were great. We went to Nantes in France for a European run, and I'd done a bit of my rehab there. And at the end of the season, I think I made one appearance. And I suppose from that, I go, right, where are we going now? And there was a meeting called Pat Dolan was sacked. And one of the board members says that Derry have put in a bid for you. And I'm kind of going, okay, I haven't played in a while. Where's Derry? Was the second question. Didn't have a clue.
They got us.
Yeah, we're just wet behind the ears.
Let me get to the other end.
Yeah. And didn't have the concept of Derry or London Derry. So I said, okay. And next thing, Stephen Kenny was on the phone to sign me. And I think at the time they paid like £8,000 or something like that for me. So, yeah.
Two things I gotta ask you here, right? Initially, before you break your leg, did you have pace?
Zero pace.
Always?
Always.
So it didn't matter then, no?
Didn't matter.
Did it make you slower?
If it was possible, probably. Truth be told. But no, I never relied on my pace and stuff, you know, so... but no, again, it gave me the chance to try to look at it on the positives. It gives me a chance to go back in the gym. Can I get stronger now?
Yeah.
Because from playing men's football with Limerick and stuff, and then, you know, getting a great pre-season under my belt at Cork, it kind of gave me the confidence to kind of go, right, I can do it, and there's no problem going back. But let's have, I suppose, a positive mindset and just get back to know what I'm doing best. Didn't know what was going to happen at Derry.
Whenever you get the phone call from Derry and you understand that Stephen Kenny's actually tried to buy you, so somebody's willing to put money up for someone who actually hasn't played much games, that must fill you with confidence.
Oh, I didn't probably realise it at the time, but I was like, I was wondering to myself, is this like for real?
Yeah.
Like, and I suppose every footballer wants to be wanted.
100%. Especially us, centre forwards. We need the love, you know.
We need the love, even from your partner. You know what I mean? Everyone needs to be loved, you know. And that's.
If Lucy's watching this, she might pull her finger out.
But yeah, so like it's you do. You need to be loved, like, you know. And Derry is somewhere where I call my second home now. It'll be still pretty close to my heart.
Whenever you actually get to meet Stephen Kenny as a figure in sport, isn't he? Here, when you think about the success he's had and the clubs that he's managed and the positions he's been in, did you realise the stature of the man or what he was potentially going to become at that stage?
No, I didn't, to be honest. Like, it was all just fun to me. Again, like this was a new journey, a new chapter. After a few setbacks, it was exciting. Like, I probably, like, when I went up to Derry, so a little story behind that. So I was asked to come up to Dublin to meet Stephen Kenny, and he was going to take me on to Derry. So I had two friends of mine who done nothing that particular weekend, and I said to Derry that one was my agent and one was my cousin.
Right.
It's all after coming out now. So they were just two mates. So I said, is this possible? So they were like, yeah, no problem. So they put me up in a hotel with my two mates. We were eating steaks left, right and centre for the weekend. So Stephen showed me around the Brandywell. We had a few talks. He picked us up at Dublin at the train station, and that was the drive. I actually found out how far it was, you know, driving in from Dublin after getting the train up. So we had talks, and on the Monday morning, so we were there, I think it was Saturday, Sunday, and on the Monday morning he said we'll have a conversation, but us three lads were out in the sauce on the Sunday night.
Okay.
So let's say, yeah, it was a bit weird. I'm signing for a club and I'm taking it like as a kind of a joke. Didn't really know if I was going to sign or not, but I wanted to go up and have a little look and see where I was getting myself in for. I could tell straight away the nightlife was unbelievable.
Right, okay.
So my mates were trying to convince me to stay so they could get another trip up. But so the Monday morning, Stephen Kenny came to the hotel and I was in no fit state to go down and meet him. So I sent my mate down and I said, look, this is what I want. And basically it was done within a few hours. So my mate came back up to the room.
So your fake agent negotiated your contract with Derry because you were hungover?
Yeah, mate of mine. And
what a mate.
So Jason and Brian were, they were at the beginning of it, like, you know, and all fun, just kind of didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
I still probably had only one full season at Limerick under my belt since I'd come home, so it was all kind of new to me. It was like a big adventure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I ended up playing a game then on the Tuesday night. I had to borrow a pair of boots, so my mates went home on the Monday, and I stayed and played a friendly game. I had to borrow, again, go back to borrowing another pair of boots.
Do you think your contract might supply you with a pair at this stage? I mean, get your agent to go get me a pair of fucking Adidas.
My uncle should have looked after me with another pair, you know. So,
World Cup.
yeah. But yeah, and from there just went from strength to strength.
It ends up being quite a successful time at Derry. So from the research that I've done, the nickname The Real Slim Shady becomes quite apparent because, as we've touched on here, you seem to have over bleached your hair.
Yeah.
And it's over bleached. If anybody wants to go have a look at it, it's, I wouldn't say horrendous, but you had hair at that stage. That's probably why you don't have any now.
Yeah, well, that's true.
We burnt it all out.
Too much bleach. Yeah, so that was the thing. It started kind of at Limerick, and I had a mohawk and all that kind of crack going on. And then I just kind of continued it. And yeah,
there's me
unfortunately
wearing
no hair now.
shy clothes, and then you had hairdos. You were like Beckham, you know?
Yeah, well, probably thought I was, like, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's just, I suppose, a young kid, you know, doing daft things and silly things, you know.
Fucking expressing yourself in
Yeah,
different ways.
yeah,
So-
that's it, and everyone does. And that time at Derry was, the squad was, again, most people will probably mention it, to have good people around you. And again, I'll reference it a lot. On and off the field is just, it's vital. And we had 2 amazing seasons. We had 2 amazing seasons at Derry.
Who was a part of that Derry team? Because you almost do the treble. You're very successful. You do the double, and you narrowly lose out on, I think it's the first treble, the second treble Derry would have won in their club's history.
Second, yeah.
Narrowly miss out due to goal difference. And there's a wee part of this, obviously, we have to dive into with you
Literally, pardon the pun.
diving in, you know. But yes, who would have been a part of that sort of successful squad to kind of take Derry on?
So in goal, you David Ford went on to play for Republic of Ireland. Pat Jennings was there. Was our team keeper. He was top notch as well. Pat Junior. You Peter Hutton, Darren Kelly, Ken O'Man, Paddy McCourt, Killian Brennan, Brian Cash, Rory Higgins, Kevin Deary, Mark Farron, God rest his soul. Paddy McCourt. It was phenomenal.
The Derry Pele, they called Paddy, didn't they?
Ridiculous.
So mad.
Just
So gifted, eh?
just wars done.
Yeah.
Like there was times when Stephen Kenny went, "You're going to play 50 minutes, 60 minutes, and I just want you to do your thing up and down," because I was playing on the left a lot, and Paddy'd come in for the last half an hour and steal the show.
Yeah.
But he was a genius. The best I played with, and probably up there with the best I played against me.
What made him as good as he was, do you think? Because you hear so many stories about how gifted he was technically with a ball, and we've all seen clips of him at Northern Ireland and playing for Celtic and these different things, and you can obviously see that he's tremendously talented. But was he driven? Was he type of guy in the gym, or was he just very lax when he was playing with you?
No, he wasn't what you'd call the typical, going into the gym before and after, stretching, getting foam roller out and stuff like that.
No, to be honest.
We used to do runs in pre-season and he'd be at the back, but no one cared.
Yeah.
Because give him the ball and he could just do what he wanted. It's
You
just
look
like
at-
phenomenal.
Yeah.
When people talk about even players who play for Northern Ireland, it's probably a bold statement, but he's the closest thing to George Best that Northern Ireland ever had. So, and that's just a fact.
Yeah.
He could make people look stupid, which he did. He literally stopped training, stopped people just falling over on the ground, just twisting them inside out. But again, great fella.
Yeah.
Just
It helps when the people are so gifted, but just tremendously nice.
And I, at that time in Derry as well, we had a great mix of young players who kind of maybe had something to prove. And the likes of Peter Hutton, who'd seen Law, Sean Harden, Eddie McCall. So these boys who had seen it, and guys who maybe didn't do so well at other clubs, who were kind of coming up to kind of prove themselves. And
It just clicked.
It all clicked. It was probably on and off the pitch one of the best times in my career.
Yeah.
We all used to go out and drink together. We used to push each other training. There was none of this kind of slacking off. We'd play on a Friday night. If it was in Dublin, you'd have Saturday off and you'd be in on Sunday. We'd come in, we'd be hungover. but there'd be no slacking. You know, that's just the way it was. We kept on pushing. And I think a lot of good teams, I think other guests have alluded to it. You know, when you've got people around you.
Powerful doesn't just happen. You have to make it happen. So the moment Total Wireless offers a free Samsung S25 FE with Galaxy AI, when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan, you take the network as powerful as you, with unlimited 5G data that won't slow you down. Now that's a total power move. Visit your neighborhood Total Wireless store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires new activation on a Total 5G Unlimited 3-month plan or higher. External port-in and ID verification. Available only in Total Wireless stores. Limit to 4 devices per account.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It just makes things so easier. So easy.
Do you think that comes because of the standards set by the club and the management, or do you think that comes from the standards that the players set themselves?
I think a bit of both. I think the better players, the best players and the better players will have their standards pushed, and then make the manager's job a lot easier. And I think Stephen Kenny was very good at picking the players, assembling players. Does exactly what it says on the tin. Managing. You're managing people.
Yeah.
I think there's too much tactics in the game now and stuff like that. I think it's getting too robotic. As you probably know yourself.
Yeah.
When you feel wanted, you know, when you feel good about yourself, when you're playing, when someone has trust in you, anything's possible. Anything's possible. And getting confidence, if you could bottle confidence, and some managers are just amazing at giving players confidence, you know.
Did you think that team was going to be as successful as it was?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. But we were up against a Shelbourne side who had the likes of Glenn Crowe, Jason Byrne, Owen Heary, you know, Stewie Byrne. Like an amazing team as well, like, you know. So that was the time around the Stanta Cup as well.
Yes.
So we were played against them, and we had trips to Windsor Park and stuff as well. Great nights, you know. But I genuinely believe that this team could go on and do something really special, and we weren't far away from doing something special as in the treble. Yes, we won 2 League Cups and an FAI Cup. Some great occasions, but I think the standard in them years, Cork City again, who won the league, pipped us to the league. So, like, one year we lost the league on goal difference. The following year we lost it by 2 points. Like, probably the worst I've felt, you know, both times on a football pitch, you know.
The first time that you narrowly lose a league, and I'm not trying to blame you here, but from people's comments online, I think it's probably down to Stephen Kenny more so you, if I'm going to be completely honest, because if you have 2 goalkeepers, they're both suspended, and then sometimes you have to put the outfield player in goals. Why were you the person that was nominated to go in goals against Shelbourne, who's pretty much sitting at the top of the table?
Yeah, so what actually happened there was, David Ford had been sent off maybe the week before. So PJ, Pat Jones, he was actually in goal that night. We didn't have sub goalkeeper. So when it happened, people were kind of looking around. I don't think there was anything that was preempted.
No.
But because I probably played a little bit of Gaelic football when I was 13.
It's always the way, isn't it? Has anyone played a bit of Gaelic and you're like,
no.
Hit me, like, you're nuts.
This is the guy from Cork, like, so now of course he plays GA, you know. So what was funny about that, so we were 2-0 up that night, and so next thing I'm putting on the gloves, and like they're 2 or 3 sizes too big, the jerseys hanging off me, and David Ford was actually standing behind the goal I was in, trying to give me instruction. Now he was more distracting than actually being in goals itself.
Just go and
you know,
kick everything.
But so we drew 2-2, and you know, we ended up losing, you know, the lost out and win the league by goal difference. And do I blame myself? Possibly.
Can't really blame yourself considering you're an outfield player like that. Do you know what I mean? You're
I actually made 1 or 2 good saves that night as well. No one remembers that. But look, it's one of them things. I actually missed a penalty that season as well, and it's mad. As memories go and highlights go, we tend to look on the negative things.
Yeah.
Which I tried to erase quickly. And it was heartbreaking, but we got into Europe the next season, and that Europe was fantastic the next season.
Talk to me about Europe, because it's one of the biggest competitions that I can say that I've ever been a part of, being Europa League and doing the qualification round and stuff, and the trips are unbelievable. And for people listening, the stories that can come out of those trips are usually quite messy to be one, because you always get a night out, but the standard that you play against is too. But lucky for you, I never got the opportunity to score a goal in Europe, but you ended up scoring the winner in one of your first games in Europe.
Yeah. Again, kind of surreal moments, like, you know.
Was it like FIK?
IFK Gothenburg.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're European champions 1960 odd, not sure. But again, big, massive team in Sweden. We actually beat them 1-0 away. And then, so they were coming back to the Brandywell. And I suppose getting an opportunity from the penalty spot, you're always kind of confident. And I put it away, but the memories that year, like everyone spoke about Gothenburg, but we also played Gretna.
Okay.
We played Gretna that year as well. And we beat them 5-1 away. And yes, I scored against Gothenburg, and it kind of stole the headlight. I was like, we played Gretna away and we didn't stand a chance. They were Scottish Premier Division at the time or something, or they won the Scottish Cup. That's how they got into the Europa League, and we beat them. Again, the nights away, it's like, as you know, you've been on these trips, like playing football with some of your best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those memories last you for a lifetime, you know. And when people win trophies and medals, I'll be honest with you, I'm not interested in trophies and medals. If you win them, brilliant, and I think it is amazing, and it is to be pushed and pushed. But sometimes you're not necessarily in a team that's always going to win trophies and medals.
No.
But what you will remember is the people. Again, just some amazing memories, playing cards, the silly tricks. But we were still focused on our football. Played Gretna, beat them, beat Gothenburg, and we had the nugget of Paris Saint-Germain, which was like, you're talking moving up levels now, like, you know, you're
where you go from like that to like this,
yeah,
and then you go to
gradually, like you're going up, and you're like, we played them in the Brandywell, and we drew 1-1. I didn't actually get on, and I was kind of disappointed I didn't get on. And we thought, hey, we've a half chance here going to Parc des Princes or something. It's like mental, like,
yeah.
Like, and you're going over there, and they had players like Pauleta, who's the Portuguese captain, a centre forward. He was probably their main guy, and you're walking out to a proper football ground.
Yeah.
Going, but they were miles ahead. They were so far ahead of us. Even in the first league, there was talks of, when they turned up, they supposedly turned up to the Brandywell and going, oh, they have a nice training ground. They actually thought it was our training ground. And they actually were shocked when the scene.
This is us.
This is us, you know. So
what are we doing here? We're peasants.
Yeah, so. that's the way it was. Like, because I remember that game, for all the European games, there was double-decker buses parked along the Brandywell.
Right.
And
so
people
can sit
and see on top of the deck bus looking in over it. So, and they must have got a shock. And like, we done okay, but we went out there and we lost 2-0. And I got on kind of last 10 or 15 minutes. But to have my dad out there as well was special, like,
yeah,
you know. So again, you're talking about memories and stuff like this, you know. My dad had been to the FAI Cup final. I don't know if that was the year before when we won at the Old Lansdowne Road, and to have him there for that, I was actually injured, but if you felt a part of it, whereas normally you don't feel a part of these things if you're not involved, you just don't. But we had such togetherness I played in the semi-final and I scored against Sligo, and there was a togetherness. So then for my dad to be over in Paris, like watching his son Grayson Park de France, like it's phenomenal, like, you know.
It's
and
something
it's
that,
just one thing that,
yeah,
you know,
that's something that you can always look on and say that there's a handful of people with the population of the world that'll ever get the experience something of that magnitude.
Yeah, and I think, look, we all have our own experiences, you know. Did I want to taste it more? Of course. Was it the only way we were going to get there? Yes. Like, I was never going to be at that level, but yes, you could possibly be a part of a team that gets great nights like that.
Yeah.
So it just fills you with confidence, though. You know, it fills you with confidence. You're up against elite players, and so yeah, that was again just amazing adventure.
Talk to me about European nights out. What would they're like? The only way I can describe it is it's like a one night stag do, because regardless of most of mine we get beat, and the result never matters, because it's like we've done well to get here. Let's go take the piss, and then let's get our flight at 7 a.m. with no sleep.
Yeah, again, I suppose when I can look back now at the Gretna one, so Gretna we had won 5-1 away in the first leg.
You're probably more focused on coming back though, no?
Well, we were winning the first leg 5-1, so we knew it was over. We knew it was over. So we had a few beers that night, and the crack. We stayed in a hotel, I think, in Glasgow, and you know, talk about men being boys. No, we were 23, 24, but it was like school kids.
Yeah,
the stuff we were doing. There was this glass. It was a glass corner, and one of the lads was gluing pound coins to the floor. So we were just sitting inside the window looking at people picking up pound coins and just laughing at them. We were just in cloud nine, something silly
Yeah.
And then one of the other boys had a £5 note tied to a piece of string, but he had it ran around the corner, and people were trying to bend down and getting it and pulling it in, and we were all standing inside the window just going, wee. Just silly things.
It's just immature fun though, isn't it?
Yeah, immature fun, but just again, great memories, last a lifetime. When we were in Paris, we went to the Irish Embassy. Again, who's going I'm young from Mallow and Cork, going to the Irish Embassy, and you're just so just again, lots of great memories, nights out, karaoke's, you know the crack. But again, you know, when you look back at it, not so much we won the game or we didn't win the game, you go, you know what, that was an amazing night out.
Yeah.
Who was there? Bang, you can tell who was there, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, a great time, and as I say, a place I hold fond of my heart, and I still probably call it my second home, you know.
Did you ever see yourself wanting to leave there?
No.
How upset were you, or how disappointed were you when you had to?
Very. I cried.
Okay.
I cried quite a lot.
What age would you have been when you had to leave?
23, no, 24, 25, 24. So Pat Fenlon, he was the manager of Shelbourne. And then, I think he was the manager of Shelbourne. And then Stephen Kenny left to go to Scotland. Soon after the cup final. And Pat Fenlon came in and released 7 or 8 of us.
Right.
Probably
off the bat, just for done. Right.
No, there had been an incident at Tulka Park. We played Shelbourne one night and we were walking off the pitch, and I don't know if this is the reason or not, but I squirted water in my mouth and I spat it out. But at the end of the game, there's where the tunnel is behind the goal, and everyone was just walking over, and there was a bit of a commotion, and I think he nearly thought that I had spat water on him.
Pat did?
Yeah, because there was uproar. Over it. And that's something that I know I would never do to anyone.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was the part of it, or he just didn't fancy me as a player, and I was devastated. I was in a pretty bad place that time. Again, not knowing when, and it was because I'd done so well. Just didn't know where I was going. I was like, how is this possible? This team came second twice in the league, 2 League Cups, 1 the FAI Cup. You know, and I was probably more disappointed the way it was done. So he'd made us all a few days before, just to say he was taking over, and he said I'd be in touch with people in the coming days. Thought nothing of it. Next thing, I got a phone call from a Dublin number. Hi Stephen, this is Pat here. Look, we're going a different direction. I won't be renewing your contract. Now, at the time, I'd been offered a 2-year deal.
Right.
Stephen Kenny had offered me a 2-year deal, and so that was still in negotiations. But as soon as he left, that was pulled off the table. Yeah, devastated.
And there's no more like in-depth conversation as to why. Just that's it, done. You're not going to be renewing the contract. You can go find a new club.
Phone call lasted probably 15 seconds. Very bitter. I was very bitter. Now, I haven't seen Pat probably since then. But I'd shake his hand and I'd say, "Lot of no problem."
Yeah.
But I was very bitter, I thought.
Well, it's because you probably wanted something that much and it was taken away from you, you would be.
Yeah. But I'd experienced this before at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
You know, and again, it's if you always get what you want, you don't probably appreciate it. But yeah, I was hurt, bitter, and again, I blew my European bonuses going out drinking with so-called, no, I did with still mates that I'd call friends this day. We did them 2 weeks nearly, just drinking.
Protein is now at Starbucks, and it's never tasted so good. You can add protein cold foam to your favorite drink or try one of our new protein lattes or matcha. Try it today at Starbucks.
So good, so good, so good.
New spring arrivals are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Get ready to save big with up to 60% off Rag & Bone, Marc Jacobs, Free People, and more.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
Because there's always something new.
Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
Mental,
yeah,
that's not normal,
yeah,
for a professional athlete, and we were full time, we were training twice a day some days, but kind of lost my way, but again, these are all experiences, and where next I didn't know, but so Galway United came calling.
Well, your stock would have been high anyway, so would you not have had more people interested in potentially taking it?
I probably would have. It wasn't,
because I know, for us, it's probably different. I don't know what way the League of Ireland works, but I think that the North of Ireland's quite a small league anyway, so everybody kind of has a hand in everybody's pockets. You know what's going on, and let's be frank about it, everybody makes their own phone calls to let people know that they're available, but at that stage you probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, so I wouldn't have been able to make a phone call 2 weeks prior because I was just on the drink, but yeah. I was kind of I was so disillusioned. I was just football was the last thing in my mind, which is kind of scary. But yeah, so I didn't really have a plan. I got a phone call from Galway United. Andy Cousins was the manager, or Tony Cousins, sorry. It was a 2-year deal, and then Nick Leeson, the rogue trader, he was involved in Galway United as well, and they were making a big effort, and they were pumping a lot of money in, and they were bringing, quite a lot of good players in.
Yeah.
So next trip was to Galway.
The League of Ireland's quite renowned for having, I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but from kind of watching the league over the last sort of 5-6 years, it kind of seems like teams have a go. They just throw a load of money at it, kind of get themselves up, and then they don't be successful in the League of Ireland, and then they're just back to part-time. But it's how does that work? How do they commit for everybody to go full-time for the 1 year? Let's try it, and if it works, we'll stay, and if it doesn't, these are back. And it's how the fuck does that work?
Yeah, I to be honest, it doesn't. I think it's proven that it doesn't for every club. The likes of Shamrock Rovers and, St. Pat's, and there's certain clubs that can do it for a period of time, but people that own these clubs, it's like a game to them. It's no club is going to make a killing, from it. So it happens, probably people that have a passion for the area, and they pumped the money in. We used to joke about Nick Leeson. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the name, but he was the rogue trader who brought down Barings Bank back in the day, and we were joking that Nick had money hid in the hills of Connemara somewhere, and that's how we were. Because when I joined Galway, we went away in pre-season tour to Portugal for a few days, which was kind of unheard of.
Yeah.
So back then, we thought 20 years ago, and we're going pre-season tour, like whatever about going on a tour with the lads after the season, but we were going away, all expenses paid. So again, new beginning, new place, new people.
Did that sway you as well? To be like, we're going away here for 4 days. They're going to be pumping money in. It's going to be potentially taking the club back up to where it needs to be.
To be honest, it was the first call I got. And again, it was going back to that kind of being wanted. So I was like, right, well, literally, I'd say there was a few hours in the phone calls. So I don't know whether he was tipped off that I was going to be released, and that was the situation. So it was a pretty quick turnaround. And again, I said I'd come down and have a look at the place, as long as I could bring my two mates. Go on ahead, Brad. So yeah, went down to Galway, done a small bit of research, and knew a few of the boys that were there, and again, some John Russell was down there. He's now the Sligo Rovers manager. Gary Rogers, who went on to have a great career in goals, and so no, there was a good squad down there. Again, there was the back in there. Went in first season, done all right, scored a few goals. All right's a word where a lot of people say, "I done all right." I didn't really do. I done okay. It's not good enough for what was expected of me, I suppose. And then got injured. Started my second year, this osteitis pubis.
Okay.
So at the time, there was a few of us on kind of good money for Galway United especially. So they tried to get me out. At the time, I wasn't driving. They were sending me to schools when I was injured. Like, I would have to get a train, a bus, and a taxi to get to school at like 9 o'clock in the morning to do coaching, and so they made it difficult for me. I contacted the PFAI down there, and it was disappointing that they weren't more helpful. To be honest, if I was probably based in a Dublin club, I probably would have got more backing.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of accept the payoff.
Percentage wise?
Yeah, well, I was looking for at least 75% at least. You should be getting all your contract.
100%, yeah. But
I thought, you know what, 75, we call it what it is. With this osteitis pubis, it was going to be an ongoing thing for like 6 to 8 months.
Is it operation needed, or is it just rehab?
Just rehab and stuff like that, and I was told it will be 6 or 8 months. I later found out it was actually a hernia.
Okay.
So I went to see a specialist, and I was misdiagnosed, and it was just, it was another tough time. So when I left there, I was trying to negotiate that they'd pay for my operation, and in the meantime, I had contacted a guy I knew since Wimbledon. Again, go back to the good people, keeping contacts. He was now the physio QPR, head physio QPR, and I said, "Look, can I come over? Will you examine me?" And so I went over there, and he says, "Your hernia." He says, "Sure." I went to one of the top specialists in London, and he was like, "It's 100% you need a hernia." So they replaced both hernias, or put in the mesh. And I actually had to pay for that out of my own pocket. Again, no help from the PFA. Just like your own right.
Again, this is the reason why these governing bodies are set up.
Yeah, but as you and I know, that's not always the case, and they probably can't help everyone. I understand that as well.
But I mean, they have a duty of care and advice. That's the reason why they make their money.
Yeah. But again, it's not always smoke.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it.
Let's be seen to be doing the right thing.
Yeah, it is. And unfortunately, not enough people kind of call it out, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it, But yeah, so from there, I got my hernia operation sorted, and I started doing a lot of thoughts were in my head about how am I going to get back from this again, like another setback, like it's another sob story.
Yeah. But it happens though, like mentally, when you have that many things go wrong, because I know towards the end, and especially I was kind of done. Like, I was done with it. I was like, I'm not committing to doing this anymore. I've been injured probably more in the last 4 years than I played.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing this for? Like, you're constantly battling to get yourself fit enough to try to play at a level that you know that you're probably not going to get to again.
Oh, and you're probably not, but you're, as you know yourself, it's a selfish game. It's a horrible game. You know, it's like, unless you're playing for a top team, say like Linfield or, you know, down south, if you're playing for it, and you're winning a lot of your games, winning leagues and stuff like that.
That's unbelievable, yes. Great game.
Brilliant, isn't it? But it's on the other side of things when you're not.
Like getting relegated.
When you're getting relegated, when you're fighting for a contract, you have a year contract, when you're maybe not getting paid, when you're declined your wages, when your wages aren't going through. So, again, more setbacks, but everyone has them setbacks. It's how you react now. Can you be positive? Can you turn this into a positive? So anyway, I got my operation and I went back to Limerick. I had another spell at Limerick. Again, it was that kind of being wanted. Now Limerick were in the first division again. So again, I kind of had to move back. I was out for the best bones of a year, you know, probably more. And I'd done a lot of thinking, and a friend of mine said, watch The Secret, the documentary, just about like visualizing stuff and visualization and stuff like that. So I did, and I actually wrote down what I wanted. I wanted to get the operation. I wanted to come back. I wanted to stay fit for a year, and at the end of it, get a move. So got my operation. Obviously, I was gone from Galway and went back to Limerick, where previously I had good times at Limerick. So I went back there. Pat Scully was the manager, and went back there, and things went from strength to strength. And that season, so it was like the summer soccer. So it was like from March right through to October. I got a phone call. I finished up with Limerick. I had scored quite a few goals again. Back flying fit. I was 26 at 27 at the time. So I kind of, you know, I was like in peak physical condition. And the season finished in October. And as you do when you're Irish, you go on the piss for 2 months till the season comes around again. That's just a done thing. So again, taking responsibility. So I was like, I needed to take responsibility for what my actions were.
Yeah.
But from everything I wrote down, I got a phone call New Year's Eve. I was in a pub in Derry. I got a phone call from an agent to go Northampton Town.
Okay.
League 2. Okay, my geography's not great, like as I suggested earlier. I was like, right, League 2. I was like, is this a wind-up? So I hung up the phone thinking, I'm 27 years of age. Who goes to England when they're 27 years of age?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't happen, like, you know?
No.
Maybe 21.
Very
22.
Yeah.
And no, so I got a phone call. I got called back again. I was in the bar, so I didn't take it. And the next morning I had a message. It was an agent. Didn't fancy going to Northampton for trial. A boy, Beo Akron Fenwa, had an injury. And they were looking for a target man. They were looking for centre forward. And I think I'd scored like in the previous season at Limerick. I'd scored like something like 11 or 12 goals in 15 games. Second half of that season. And so I went over for a few days on kind of like a mini trial. Kind of they were having a look at me. And I signed till the end of the season. Now, I probably wasn't right for it, you know. Probably wasn't ready. That was at my own doing, you know.
Why do you think that you weren't ready?
Well, again, not knowing what was next, and because that kind of mentality, will just like abuse my body, just go on the drink here, and sure, like something may come up. It always does come up.
Yeah,
something always falls into place. And I went over there on trial, and kind of technically I was probably up to it, but the pace of the training was, it frightened me.
Yeah,
it frightened me.
For League 2?
Yeah, it frightened me. Now, considering I was 2 months gone the opposite way, and they were in the middle of their season.
I was about to say, you're out of season, aren't you?
Yeah, I was probably 2 stone overweight, like, you know, more.
But then again, they would have known this, still signing you, do you know?
Probably so. But again, maybe the guy who was acting for me made the age. I said, no, he's keeping himself right. He's, you know, he's looking for a club. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but again, it was just the opportunity to go over there when I was 27. It was just like
100%.
It's like
you were never going to say no.
Yeah, no. So I went over there. I was miles off it, to be honest, as in the training.
Yeah.
But when it came to the games, I actually played, I think, 5 or 6 games, and I was really comfortable.
Yeah.
It was just the training. It was small-sided, tight, like as we would do in the Irish League, tight little games. But I'd lost my fitness. I'd lost 2 months. And for that, I was most disappointed with myself. To have such a bit... First of all, I never thought I'd have an option. I thought I was going to join another League of Ireland club, you know, that I could do a pre-season, still be at that quality because I was that age where I could get good enough to play and I could just kick on. But I went over there and the pace caught me out. And I lasted till the end of the season when my contract was to the end of the season. And I played 5 or 6 games. A few of them were on the bench. I started maybe 2 or 3 games and I actually done quite all right in the games. I was snatching at chances where normally you'd be a little bit more composed. And again, I suppose when I was over there, I had a chance to go, well, there was an opportunity for me to go to Darlington. So Steve Staunton was the manager of Darlington at the time. And I was in the dugout. We played Darlington at home, and just before half time, I was going in, and Steve Staunton he actually said to me, Stephen, he says, I'm looking to take you on loan. I said, I'll be in touch in a few days. I was like, this is Steve Staunton, Irish Republic. Like, Italian 94 World Cup. Like, I was even know my name. So it was all kind of a bit surreal. Even I was 27, and I think we beat them 4-1. He got sacked after the game, so that was that. Yeah, you know, not going to happen. So, but again, amazing experience. Probably my best mate now. I was at his wedding and godfather for one of his kids. He flies over here. He loves Belfast. I love going over to him. Friends for life, you know. And again, it just kind of a disappointment, but a great experience. And I'm back. I came to Ireland again.
See, above all, when you kind of round out that side of your career until you're 27, and you try and summarize it, how would you summarize it?
You know you need fiber for a healthy gut, but do you actually know how to get it? Quaker's been serving up fiber since 1877, with over 100 great-tasting, good source of fiber options to choose from. Whether you like old-fashioned oats, instant oatmeal, granola, or oatmeal squares, Quaker makes it delicious. So good. Get your fiber with Quaker. Shop Quaker's good source of fiber products at a store near you.
It's crunch time at work, and you need to bring wings to your workday. Visit redbull.com/gettingitdone and answer a couple questions about your work style to get a Spotify customized playlist tuned to your productivity. Plus, score a can of Red Bull on us while you go from to-do to done. And remember, Red Bull gives you wings. Supplies are limited. Terms apply. Visit the website for more information.
I didn't give myself the best chance.
Do you think that you had more potential than you probably showed?
No. I just think I probably enjoyed myself. I gave everything on the pitch. I gave everything. Like, that's the one thing I can put my hand on my heart and say I gave everything for every club. You know, probably didn't have the ability as other players did. I always felt when I played games, that was when I was at my best. It's kind of silly to say, but of course you are. When you play regularly, you are at your best. And I probably found when I went to clubs that were so-called bigger or top clubs that I didn't get a fair crack at the whip. Whether I was capable or not, I never know, because I didn't think I was given the opportunity to play 4 or 5 games in a row.
Okay.
but I'm okay with that. That's okay. I think I maximised what I got. But I was still thinking I'm 27. I still have quite a bit to go, you know.
See, when we're going to move into sort of like the Irish League time, you come in, you start playing up north. How much different is the two leagues?
I think they're miles apart, to be honest. I think they're miles apart.
Why?
I think the attitude towards them.
Okay.
You know.
Fair enough.
So it's a part-time. Like up here, most people have jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Then football is secondary. Down south, your football is your, for most of the full-time teams. Like, most of the teams now are full-time and have been for quite a few years. So you have your full-time. It's not to say I think it's right, because I don't think it's sustainable down south or up north to have full-time players to pay players
the wages
what they could earn from their job,
Yeah.
So like, I was 30 years of age when I joined the Institute. When I came back, I joined St. Pat's, got left out of the cup final down south, and didn't play for kind of 6 months, and I moved up to Derry again. I was always kind of dragged back to Derry. I had
comfort,
Yeah, comfort at home from home stuff. So I moved back up there and had a few mates. Paddy McLaughlin was playing for Institute at the time, and Paul Key was the manager. And they just said, "Do you fancy coming down for a kickabout?" And I thought, you know what? So I left it so I'd officially retired from down south, and I claimed tax back. So when you're a sports person down south, you claim tax back. So it meant I couldn't go back and play down the south again.
All right. Okay. And that still happens now? Is that the way it works?
I'm not aware of it, no. But at the time, so I had taken, you get a percentage of all the tax you paid, you get a percentage of it back, but you can't then go back and play in League of Ireland, which was disappointing because Peter Hutton was the manager of Finn Harps, which was down south, and I tried to go back and I couldn't. But so I stopped playing, and Institute then was just, come on, let's go back playing for the crack, because I didn't really care for football anymore. I thought that was it. 30 years of age, that's a wrap. And out of the blue, Institute was just spectacular for me.
Yeah.
Back
at the Brandy World at that stage? Or
No, they were still in their own ground. It's a
shame what happened, that ground.
Yeah, because it was a nice, tidy ground.
And they done a lot of work to it. They built it up just before that happened.
They did. But again, the stat you're saying about the difference from the part-time and the full-time, like with Institute, the fans would be on the bus with us.
Yeah.
We'd be drinking cans and stuff like that, At that time down south, that wasn't happening. So that's what I'd say, professionalism.
Yeah.
But still amazing players up here that could easily play down south, that kind of weird. But yeah, so obviously the work thing. So yeah, from Institute then was something again just really enjoyed. Just I think we're getting like 20-30 quid. But it wasn't about the money.
Yeah.
I found myself, so I was 30 years of age, no qualifications. I'm like, what am I going to do here? This 30 quid a week is not going to,
Yeah.
Not going to do. So I started doing door work. So I started doing bouncing, like in a few of the bars in Derry. Started off doing stewarding at events and stuff. And then done the door. So I was doing the door Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. So as soon as I have a game in Belfast, I'll be back down the road, getting the old shirt and tie, changing the bus.
Like on the
trying to get away.
Doesn't slide off.
So back doing the doors, and again just gave me more experience, and I would have known a lot of people in Derry, so a lot of people would have known me. So that was great. And again, another experience. Didn't think that would be my thing, but
one thing we spoke about whenever we were coming in is the opportunity to earn good money part-time. You obviously got the feel of that when you probably signed the Crusaders, got a new contract, you move up the road, and you're still able to work. And I think that's where the league kind of comes into its own. It's hard to kind of go full-time. As you say, you could easily be earning over £1,000 a week if you've a decent job and you've studied in, say, you're a pharmacist or a quantity surveyor or something like that. 50-60 grand a year plus your £300-400 a week. It's hard to come by that, and realistically You're not getting that at most full-time clubs.
No, I think like to have the football aspect, to have your job and still be able to go out and be as close as you can to be a professional footballer. You're having maybe some games, or Linfield, Glentoran, you know, you're probably 7,000 or 8,000. You're great atmospheres, great nights and stuff like that. You know, so to have that and your job, knowing that, right, if I get injured in the morning, well, I still have my job.
Yeah.
Is great. Now, I was very lucky that I was able to avail of that type. So when I moved to Belfast, you know, I was like, right, I'm 30, I need to have something to show for this year.
Yeah.
I need to have something to show for it, like, you know, which further down the line I was able to buy myself a house.
You actually go in the Crusaders team probably at the right time, because they build a squad of absolute warriors and they end up doing the double near enough at that time, or is it 15, 16?
15, 16, no.
What was that like?
Gonna go back to great people again. Great people.
The documentary comes out. Were you there at that time when they done the in-house video of
No.
all the players, like the Christian thing? No?
No.
Okay.
No, I missed that one.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about the good times stuff.
Yeah.
That you want to
I'm sure that's good times as
that
well.
was sure it's fantastic thing, yeah.
But no, so yeah, again, great people, great standards. So myself and Barry Malloy, we both signed on the same time, I think, and we went into a team that was firing all cylinders, competing against Linfield at the top of the league. I suppose we brought that kind of extra bit of professionalism and that more intensity to maybe push players like Big Jordan Owens and Domer Carr was there, and you know, so they already had a great side, but there was more coming, you know, so it showed intention. A brilliant season again, like to win the league, some mad nights at the end of the season. It was well documented, you know. I suppose Decky and Sean O'Neill being the two main culprits, like, you know. So, but like great nights, you know. Again with great people, you know, and I can't say, you know, enough good things about that club.
The club's fantastic, and I think that it's, you kind of put it on record, the people that are around it, the people that help out, the supporters and stuff, they're kind of, they're very much so lifelong fans. They'll always give everything to be there, but you didn't probably play as much there, probably same as me, as I kind of wanted to for such a good club, for such a position that you're in. Unfortunately, you just didn't play enough games.
Yeah, and I suppose it came to, again, we came to a halt probably my second season there, coming up to Christmas. Again, I hadn't played, just wanted to play. I was turning up and busting myself every night, and there was guys walking around knowing that they were going to be in the team, and it's just something I didn't take kindly to, because I'm thinking, you're training 2 nights a week, guys. You know, for an hour and a half, it needs to be done. On point, done right. You're here for an hour and a half, no messing about. And I still couldn't get a good run of games, and I just thought I needed to play. Now, in hindsight, the alternative of driving to Ballymallard 2 hours down the road, I didn't realise what was to come, you know.
Yeah.
But I would have driven 3 hours, you know, just to play.
I was about to say, did you not check Google Maps before you agreed?
Again, my geography's not great.
You were like,
wrong, you know. So but again, I had a few words with Stephen, a few heated words, but again, all from a good place. You know, he wanted me to stay, I wanted to go. I didn't want to become a bad influence around the place, which wouldn't be my style. But I'm getting to the age now where I kind of just need to play.
Yeah.
So Ballymallard it was. They made an agreement that if Ballymallard stayed up, and I'd contributed to that, would have repaid the fee and stuff like that, like, you know. So I went down there.
What is it? Freeney Park, or is it
Feeney Park?
Feeney Park.
Yeah.
It's like a carpet. It's one of the best surfaces in the country.
Yeah, and people hate going there.
I know.
People from Belfast thinks it's the other end of the world.
2.5 hours away. No one likes to drive anywhere 2.5 hours away. You
Well,
must go to Dublin.
Well, I used to train Tuesdays and Thursday nights. I used to leave here at 5:30, get down for just near 7:30 to train till about 9 and back up the road.
Do you know what? Fair play. I don't think I'd ever do that.
At my age, I didn't think I would be doing that either. I didn't.
But you had to.
And I look back now and I go, was I mental or what?
Yeah.
Was it? No, but I wasn't. But I had that passion to still play.
Yeah.
I still wanted to play.
See, that's the difference. Maybe. Maybe.
I wasn't on your money, but
well,
but no, so
0 now. No.
But no, I did, and I just wanted to play again. It was just kind of going back to, look, I want to play. I need to play. I had too many injuries along the way, and again, it showed when I was playing regularly. You know, I done pretty well down there, like, you know, and we ended up staying up that year, and and that was great. And I suppose the next step on from that was Glentoran.
How does that come around? And is that something that you're open to taking straight away?
I was actually quite happy with Ballymallard.
Okay.
We had stayed up, and I thought, right, they had actually been in contact before I joined Ballymallard about signing that summer, the following summer. And
who's the manager of the Glens?
It was Alan Cornan.
Okay.
Again, I had this thing, another former Irish international. Like, so I was thinking, is this going to be another Steve Stone job?
He's going to look after me here.
Yeah. I'm like, what's going on here? So I agreed to sign a pre-contract, and it was for the Glens that summer. Done a pre-season. All was going great there, getting up to peak fitness. I had a phone call from the kit man. Right, you're number 10. No problem. Numbers don't mean a thing to me, and it's not a thing. Getting a good pre-season, and then I got a phone call from Alan one day to say, we're signing someone. I was like, okay. Like, what manager would ring you to tell you it's nothing got to do with me? And he was like, no, but they need your number. Thought this is very random, like. But
so they've signed you pre-contract, asked you that you were going to be the new number 10, and then they phoned you to tell you that they've signed someone and you're no longer the number 10.
Yeah, this was in the summertime now, so literally pre-season now.
Okay. It's like, you're only in the door.
Yeah. So, like,
okay.
I'm like, okay, it's only a number. For me, it's nothing. And then I realised, he said, it's Nacho Novo. It's like a kind of like a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
Nacho wore number 10 for Rangers and that. Again, I thought, sweet, no problem. It's none of my business. You could be 110. It doesn't. But looking back now, I probably should have stood for him and went, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because of the way things turned out. Nacho, a great guy and stuff, and I think it's been documented here that good guy and stuff, but I got injured the first game of the season, played the first game of the season, got injured, and then it went from bad to worse. Just bad to worse. Not a good time again.
You're going to have to elaborate when you say bad to worse. Because Kernan doesn't stick around for too long.
No. So Adam was like a lovely guy, really nice, but maybe too nice.
Okay.
Very kind of softly spoken and stuff. I don't know if he'd had any previous experience in managerial roles. Not that you have to be barking and shouting and roaring.
No.
You don't have to do that, And results dictated. Like, we were poor, But I'd got injured in the first game of the season, and 6 weeks after, I'm still wondering what's wrong with me. So I'm asking for a scan. Nothing was done pretty much till before Christmas, when I got a scan, which was like I was doing rehab, I was running straight line, but it was like as if there was like no money or no finances there to get my scan.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. Ended up getting 2 cortisone injections in my groin. So I ripped a tiny bit of the muscle off the bone. But it was only affecting me when I twisted side to side. But again, got the injection, got back clean in January. And myself and Curtis Allen actually played up front at this stage. Gary Hervin was in charge. Again, lovely man. Put on some good sessions as well. Him and Stevie Mills, like, great guys. But I don't think the squad was good enough. And like at Glentoran, you need to win, like, you know, it's that big two mentality, you know. But like, I think some of the fans didn't realise that where they were. Actually, they weren't up here.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't competing.
They just expected.
You know, but they expected, which is fair enough. You know, so I took a bit of slack myself. I took a bit of stick myself, which was grand. It's understandable. But disappointing. I came back after Christmas in my 7-quarter salary and we played a game. It might have been ours or Bangor. And I scored 2 and he got 1. And Gary came out and said, oh, you know, you've Curtis running one way and you've Stephen dropping off, and you know that's the way it's going to look. But that's not the way it panned out, so that was disappointing. And Nacho played a lot of the games, and I think everyone knew Nacho was overweight at the time. He was carrying a few stone to be, you know, as good as what he could have been. Again, another frustrating period, you know. And at that stage, I didn't like being messed about. Like, you know, I'm a senior professional at this day. All I'm demanding is high standards. And I remember one day in training, we came in and there was fellas trying to nutmeg each other and all this. And, like, you'd swear we were on top of the league. Like, there was guys, like, literally. And again, you're there for an hour and a half. You should be putting it in. You know, people get praised for hard work and effort. That's your starting block.
Yeah.
We were down near the bottom of the table and the fellas all in trying to nutmeg people and stuff. And I just didn't take kindly to it. Like, and I kind of had a few words and I said, it's not good enough, like, you know. I says, everyone's laughing and joking, it's not good enough, like, you know. And it wasn't. And that was kind of the end of my time there. Like, I was on the bench for most of the end games, and I'm thinking to myself, there's kids here. This guy, Paul O'Neill, he was on the bench. He's at great young fella. He was on the bench. I'm going, this kid, like, he was a kid at the time. He deserves a chance to go on and maybe progress his career instead of me just sitting on the bench, you know. And I felt as if I was kind of taken up, but I kind of was there to make up the numbers. And so it was just a really bad taste in my mouth. And from there then, I went back to Ballymena. That 2-hour drive didn't seem as bad. You know, but there was a lot of things going on with the Glens at the time. I think there was financial difficulties as well.
I mean, trying to pay,
and they just weren't there.
Those wages probably wouldn't help.
Yeah, maybe so, you know, but from day dot, with the whole number 10, I probably should have stood my ground on that. But hey, look, again, just not a great time. But again, I'll go back to, there was some like amazing people there as well. You know, so I met some great coaches and stuff like, you know, Tiernan Lynch was there earlier on, before Alan came in and stuff like that, you know. So no regrets whatsoever. I was disappointed the way the injury was sorted. Very disappointed. Because that could have been sorted sooner and then things could have worked out differently. Like, I was still getting bills the following summer.
They were billing you?
They were billing me.
For my cortisone and stuff?
Cortisone injections and stuff. So I was like, no, send them back.
Yeah.
Which was disappointing, you know, but again, massive club, kind of privileged to play for such a big club, you know, even though it didn't go as well. Yeah. But yeah, so I knew it was kind of coming to the end, and I ended up going back to Ballymena, and that was the last hurrah.
Nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Were you happy to finish your time off at a club that you enjoyed?
Yeah.
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 Like, what was that, 6 months or a year?
Yeah, kind of just like, I think it was like just the last season, and you know, Harry McConkey was the manager down there, and Gavin Dykes had been down with Gavin Dykes was down there. Whitey Anderson, again, amazing, just great. Again,
football people
just great, you know, and that community. But again, I was playing. That's all that mattered. I was playing football, and we ended up getting relegated, and that was that. I called it a day over there. Kind of went on, helped out Donegal Celtic for a while, and maybe 5 or 6 games. Just a friend of mine and helped him out. But no, I was kind of happy that I finished it on my terms and that it wasn't an injury.
Yeah,
because so many players, and that must be hard to take as well. You know, it's.
I mean, I still have the opportunity to come back.
I'm sure you do.
But
that's on your.
Yes, I get to decide whether I want to come back. Yes, and I think if I stop being lazy as fuck and maybe do the rehab, but at the minute, it's just.
Yeah, and which is hard as well. Life comes at you. And
I blame the baby more than anything, but it's really not. It's just me not getting up off my hole and doing something. But
and you know, like when you talk about having the kids and stuff, I suppose I'm very lucky and grateful now that I suppose when I stopped playing, I went through a difficult period, not knowing what to do. So I'm working for a company the last 8 years, which I really enjoy at the moment. But when the football stopped, I was like, what's next?
Finding that next. Yeah.
So luckily enough, I have a beautiful son, Rian. I have a beautiful partner, and she's amazing, Susie. So life is great. Life is great, and I'm taking all the positives from it. Positive energy. Taking a step back and just watching my boy develop as a young man. So.
One last question, and I feel like it's essential to ask, but do you see yourself getting back involved in football at all in any capacity?
If you asked me 6 years ago, not a hope in hell. But I can tell you now, I'll be back in one shape or form or in some capacity. I get my son at the weekends, and I get him Tuesday and Thursday nights, and he's my everything, you know.
Yeah.
But I can offer something, and I have him. I've done a lot of self-help and looking into myself and how I speak to people and how I behave. Perception's a big thing, how people perceive you.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of people thought I was a knob until I started this.
There you go. It's all perception though.
But all perception.
Not one bit's true. You know?
Well,
but it's funny. You know, it's funny
true.
how you come across people on a pitch, and like I'd smash someone whenever, like not intentionally swing, but I'd stand my ground. You know, I've had battles with a lot of centre halves, as you says, you kick lumps out of each other.
Absolutely.
You know, and to come off and have a point with someone then, or I'd like to think I'm good at staying in touch with people.
Yeah.
And again, it's people I keep reverting back to it, like, you know, and it's,
yeah,
I think it's just very important. But no, I will. I think there's a space for a mental capacity, just to observe people's attitude and how people's attitudes can dictate other people's behaviours. So I do a lot of mental health kind of stuff with work and stuff, and I've worked a lot on myself, how to understand my behaviours. So you need to sort yourself out before you can look at help others.
Absolutely.
So my son has helped me to do that. So yeah, I definitely find there will be a place back in football. At the moment, I'm helping out with my son's Whitehead Eagles team at the moment. So
nice.
That could be the start of something special.
Well, listen, thank you so much. I feel like you can't really finish on a better point.
That's been a privilege.
Than to talk about being positive and going into potentially the next episode positive, depending on who it is. Oh, thank you so much. And we finish on hugs. Been waiting for it. Oh, mate, so thank you so much.
Imagine.
Thank you. Absolute pleasure. Really enjoyable.
Probably went on a bit too much today.
Oh, sure, these people enjoy it. You know, everybody that tunes in enjoys it. So
very easy conversation, man. But you could go on for hours, man. I'm sure there's boys that sit here and they could go on.
You could. So there's some people you have to shut up to.
Yeah, well, you could.
But listen, we'll not say any name shit.
No, but you like listening to people's stories and telling stories. I could do this. I can yap, but it's also important to listen.
It is, 100%.
For me. But
well, thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks very much.
Join us next week on the On the Spot Football Podcast for yet another fantastic guest. But if you are up for sponsorship, if you are looking to potentially invest into the best podcast in Northern Ireland, give me a shout. See you soon.